We are back with another casted game from the point of view of the players on AoM Mythology Retold. So we are watching I Am Magic and the second game up against the Mister. And I just wanted to go between them. So the last game would have been the Mister, now watching Magic. And just luckily for me, Magic is playing Isis. So I'm assuming he's picked this Isis to take it away from the Mister, because the Mister is probably the best Isis there is. And we're going to see how he's going to play this one. So he's on the map Tundra. Tundra isn't in the ranked map pool currently as of this patch. Maybe it will come in later. Well, we'll have to see if they do some kind of rotation with it. But the difference between this map and other ones is you get an extra pack of huntables in your base. And this is really good for Isis, because something that made Isis quite strong when Retold first came out is that you can see that you get extra food here with the berry bushes, and actually this just replaces chickens. I've just realized. So instead of having chickens, you have some extra caribou instead. But basically this makes Isis better, because if you want to go for a fast heroic, the issue with Isis is on Legacy you would have to push out and find some huntables somewhere else, and that's where you left yourself open for some kind of aggression or some raids, or you would have to eat your goats really early on. Maybe it was a map that you didn't have that many goats on. So that's why Isis is slightly better now. So this is a perfect map for Isis, where she can sit in her base for ages. But a good... Interesting that he's going for a second one here. I assume this is exactly where the Mister's base is. That means that Magic has been looking at these maps and he knows exactly what the spawns are. Maybe this is... No, interesting. Maybe he was just wanting the extra line of sight there. Not often you see two right next to each other. What he's doing is he's doing some goat scouting. As we said on the previous time we watched Magic, he's deciding to do some goat scouting. Not something you see that often in Age of Mythology, but you don't want to send too many goats out, because at any point the Mister's Catascopus could steal this out. I could steal this away, and that's 300 food that you're not getting back. So just something that you want to really pay attention to. So we've got more obelisks coming up. Something that you want to do as Isis is get as many obelisks up as possible. So the build that he's going for is the Fast Flood of the Nile. This is where you get your monument to the villagers nice and early. You put 5 over to food, then the rest go over to gold until you get that Flood of the Nile tech, and then you move over back onto the food to get enough up to advance to the next stage. Then as soon as you get to 15 population, which is when the population cap sounds, that's when you drop your temple and you can get it up for a nice advanced time. So we've got 43 seconds left on that, so we could go for a 4:15 kind of advanced time. So with this scout, he's doing a kind of line in front of the Mister space. So the Mister is playing Hades. Hades is a good matchup with into Isis normally, because Hades has the Sentinels, he has the stronger archers, so he's just much more defensive. And Isis normally wants to do some kind of timing push. It's very difficult to play Isis in a kind of boomy way. I mean, it isn't difficult, but it's just you would rather pick someone like Ra for that. But you can just play a budget Ra if he really wants to. This is a really nice obelisk here. Just spotting the gold mine. It seems like a bit of a waste because you're not getting the full line of sight, but actually just hiding it here to then get the gold mine in. This is more of like a later game obelisk if it doesn't get found out. Let's see, we've got Hermes Winged Sandal. This was the same in the first game. So this gives the same benefits to the Hades as it did for the last game with the Greeks. And we see Mister grabbing that one nice and early. So they really do rate that relic. There was a bolt over that relic in the last set. But what I was going to say is it helps Magic out if he wants to go for quite a few priests to deal with some kind of early Minotaur situation that might come from the Hades player. And it just makes the priests slightly faster to be able to catch up to those Minotaurs to actually take them out. Ajax coming in. The only issue, and he's actually seen that and decided to, Ajax is going to wail on this priest. You don't really want to worry about that. So what are we seeing? We're seeing 10 on the gold mine. We have enough for a second town center. Is he just going to go for a naked second town center of this one? He's seen that the Ajax is over here, so that isn't going to bother him. He's seen the Minotaur is down here, so the only thing he has to worry about is the Achilles. Achilles on his own shouldn't be a bother. So he is free to get this up, especially with 8 villagers, and then he's got a really nice safe hunt pack back here. So rather than going for some kind of fast heroic, he's going for a 2-town center variant. He could go 2-town center into fast heroic and do the same kind of thing, just slightly later timing, but with a stronger army. The same thing with the Scorpion Men, with the priests out, getting some camels or some chariot archers out. Or because chariot archers have been buffed in this most recent patch, I think he might just be going for a decent amount of chariot archers and doing something similar to what we would see with some of the really strong micro players, how they're playing Terma with Gaia or with Uranus, just kind of shoot and scoop micro, as some of the other guys like to call it. Kind of like that micro that you might see in like League of Legends or some kind of MOBA. But we're seeing some forward berries over here. Settlement also coming in for Mister. Spies that with the Sphinx. Needs to run away from here because the Minotaur might catch him out. No, Sphinx is absolutely fine. And now he's getting out that Sacred Cats technology. Sacred Cats is so strong, and I think it's something that's really slept on or not talked about as one of the good things about going through bars. So villagers on farms, huntables, herdables, and berry bushes all boosted by 5% for farms and 10% for the rest. It's basically just having a boost on the food makes a massive difference. If you want to go for some kind of fast heroic, this just boosts you up so much. It only costs, I think it was 90 gold. No, it doesn't actually say. I think it's 90 gold though. It's really, really cheap. And then husbandry as well gives you the extra herdable plus 10% as well. So it just boosts your food income like crazy. And I didn't do the Alt T. I'm sorry that I didn't have them the right way. I need someone to shout that to the past. But we are seeing that he is getting close to the heroic age. So 600 food, 300 gold. You only need slightly more. He's got his armory up. Not deciding to go for armory and market. It's something that I like to do. Obviously, I'm not a top player, but I just like to do that when I'm playing Egyptian. As soon as you get to the classical age, drop an armory, drop a market, because they take so long to build and they're free. So if you want to market later on, I mean, Magic is the kind of player that he's good enough to know he needs a market before he needs one anyway. But for people that don't know how to do that, like me, it's a really good thing to just drop straight away. Myth units use their special ability more often. This is so good for some kind of Ancestors Eclipse. If you get a decent amount of Sphinx in there, if you get a decent amount of Scorpion Men, they already drop their recharge ability so much. So this is such a strong relic with an Ancestors Eclipse. Or if he wants to save it till later, even the Eclipse with some kind of Osiris play. Unfortunately, this Sphinx is going to get caught out unless he can do some kind of cheeky micro to get away. But the Achilles is faster than the Sphinx, especially when he gets snared. And the Achilles is just too strong. It's just going to go down. That's just that's unfortunate there. What I'm sure he was trying to do was find some villagers to potentially drop an Ancestors Eclipse on if he really wanted to. But if he didn't find anything, obviously he just wouldn't drop it and wait a little bit. But he is getting another Sphinx out. Sphinx are so strong. Especially recently, they've had a buff where you no longer have to spam click after they use their special. When they use their special, they would just sit there unless you clicked movement, a movement direction after that. But now they just do it automatically. So it's a kind of buff, but more a quality of life change. You could make it happen anyway. Decent amount of priests coming out, as we expect when you're playing Isis and going through Nephthys, because they are strong anyway. Migdal Stronghold coming up from the gold mine. He's seen that the Mister doesn't have that many units out, so he can just push out here. If the Mister had a decent amount of Hippocon running around or something like that, then he really wouldn't want to go for this Migdal Stronghold with not many defenders around. But he's seen that there isn't much, so there's nothing stopping him, and this defends this gold mine. And that is one of the biggest weaknesses of Isis, securing that second gold mine, and he's secured that nice and early, which is definitely what you want to do. As we said earlier, Ancestors Eclipse, maybe he didn't see this wooden wall, but that's going to trap some of these Ancestors the wrong side. So really nice play by the Mister to sort that out. But there's some low HP ones here. Restoration being dropped, so he's not going to lose any of these villagers. And Restoration traded for Ancestors and Eclipse, a classical age god power for 2 god powers. That is a win for the Mister there. Restoration is insanely strong though, but it looks like the Ajax is just going to follow him around, and he isn't going to get one. He got 1 villager kill for 2 god powers. That was a really nice defense. This is kind of the classic defense, is getting a little wall down like that. He is going to be able to get some potential villager kills here, but there is a little bit to get out here. You're going to get 2 kills, potentially a third. He's got 10 seconds left of these Ancestors. Can he get a third before it jumps into the tower? No, only 2 kills. But while this is happening, the gold mine is secured, and that's kind of what you want to use it for as well. You obviously want to get as much damage off as possible, but he wants to get a Migdal out for his chariot archers, and then put the pressure on. This is something that I've seen before, and I don't know if this is something that we need to take out the game. Basically, if you press eject while you're on your temple, so say you've got a myth unit in there, if you press eject, your myth unit will jump out, but also the relics jump out too. Huge curse, killing off all of those chariot archers, bar 2, and that means that the Mister can come win this fight. She just needs to back up. Got a few priests out to deal with the free units here. The Mister has barely built anything. These are all free units. He's got the free one, the free golden lion from that relic, and just free myth units, not building anything. And managing to just get by with his god powers. And I mean, the heroes aren't free, but I call them free because they come out of the town center. It's not something you have to actively build a building for. And they also don't cost any training time on your villagers either, because they come out at the same time. So a decent amount on wood shows that he just wants to go pure chariot archers. That's what we said earlier. Chariot archers have been buffed. So the most recent buff was, it was definitely more damage, and I think cheaper upgrade on the heavy upgrade. And they might have got something else as well. I can't see how much it costs now, unfortunately. But there was one more buff. I think it might have been a health buff. So they've gone from, in my opinion, a pretty decent unit anyway, to incredibly strong with their 5 speed. And then when you're playing Ra, they get even more HP, which is just disgusting to think about. But third town center coming up, siege towers coming through to do some kind of push. The only problem with pure chariot archers is you obviously can't push buildings. You need siege towers, or you need elephants, or even just some camels or something. Barrett's coming down to potentially get some front line, whether he wants to get some spearmen, whether he wants to get some axemen to deal with any hoplites that might be coming through. We're going to have a look. Axemen, chariot archers is a really good combo. Because, well, I mean, especially if you're against some kind of infantry-based army. But instead he's going for the spearmen. Spearmen are faster, and they'll keep up with your chariot archers better. And also, if Hippocon come out as a counter to the chariot archers, then the spearmen counter the opponent's front line. So it's just a good way to go. But the Greek archers do deal more damage than the chariot archers from a population basis, because these are 3 population. Nice snipes coming over the wall. And this is the problem with chariot archers currently, of how strong they are. They can just get away from their counter archer opponents there. They wouldn't be able to get away from Hippias, because Hippias have, I believe, 5.5 speed, and the chariot archers only have 5. So Hippias are the counter here, but preemptive heavy spearmen even to go into the only thing that can really counter these if they decide to run away. The Peltast from the Mister are really strong though. They are a really good counter if they're stationary, but they can just run away. 40% pierce armor though, so strong. Up here, getting all the hunt. So we are spectating the player that seems to have map pressure here. So he has got 3 town centers. He hasn't seen if the Mister has grabbed this one, but deciding that he needs to start securing gold mines. So he knows that this one is behind the walls. This one is kind of the Mister's for the taking, but he wants to play off of the 3rd gold mine. This is a strategy that you can do rather than going off of the classic 2nd gold mine, trying to get them around 10 to 12 minutes, saying, okay, you can have that one for free. I'm just going to make favorable trades or even trades and get map pressure, and then try and play them off that 3rd gold mine. Just needs to make sure that he has eyes on every gold mine, getting some walls up, and playing off of that. He doesn't have to play off a gold mine, but it's just something that you really want to do if you're a player, or if you're a civilization like ISIS that wants to get some kind of timing in, rather than playing for the super late game. Especially against Hades. Hades is probably the best late game of all of the gods. I mean, Greek is definitely the strongest. Whether Hades is the best, maybe it's Poseidon. But very, very strong. We are now seeing those axemen come out, as we said earlier. Really good counter to the hoplites, especially as there's no just tox out. There's only peltasts, and the peltasts don't really deal too much damage to the axemen, even though they have very little pierce armor. Actually, really good fight for Magic here. The Mister only saw this army, which is why he wanted to take the fight, but Magic had a cheeky army to the side. He's going to get some really nice picks off. This is the issue with the Greek army without Hippias, is they're really slow, whereas the heroic army from Isis is exceptionally fast, with the camel riders at 6 speed, chariot archers 5 speed, and they can dictate the pace of the fights. We really need to get some vision here. I'd maybe try and send a priest over. I mean, it's easy to say now. I don't think I would think about it in the middle of the game, but just watching it from not having to do anything, it would be really nice to get one cheeky priest over there. Scorpion Man going to deal huge damage. Actually got a couple of Scorpion Men out, even with only with two guys down there for the favor. Restoration cast, so that means that Magic will have to run back. Actually decides to stay and fight against those hoplites, just showing that he is in an advantageous position here. And dropping that restoration, that's so much favor that has been used up for that. So he isn't going to see many myth units coming out at him. And Nemean Lions can be really strong against a big ball of units like this. So many Peltasts out. There aren't really very many counter Peltasts out here in the form of camels or something like that. But the Scorpion Men are here, very few heroes, and the Peltasts will deal no damage to this guy. 500 health, and they're dealing 6.5 damage. It's just not a lot. And he can also use a special run in, run away. So he just needs to make sure that the Chariot Archers aren't getting hit by the Peltasts. But the Scorpion Men, if he's left alone, I mean, he'll just deal crazy damage. Also getting some priests in here is a really nice idea. Deal with those Hades Shades that are now myth units, but also the Peltasts don't get their 4 times multiplier against the priest heroes because they don't count as ranged, I believe. I definitely could be wrong. Some things are mixed, but I feel like they don't do the crazy high damage. Really late prosperity being used. Maybe that's a second prosperity. I feel like it only costs 60 when it's used. Maybe that's second prosperity just to get 71 on gold. 71 on gold, prosperity. He can just buy his way up to whatever he wants, buy his way to anything. He's decided to go through Thoth. So Thoth, you can get the upgrade which gets you 2 of any Migdal unit if the Pharaoh is on it. He's also just seen that the Mister is on 2 town centers rather than the 3. So he's deciding to go to 4 town centers. There's a Nemean Lion on it, which means he needs to send a couple of priests over. Meteor on the army, really good way to use this because it does divine damage. Unfortunately missing there, but getting one huge, all you need is one huge meatball to come down and it does some serious damage. Unlucky there that it didn't get them before they ran out of the circle, but that's just how Meteor has always been. You've just got to get lucky with where it hits, rather than something like an Earthquake is obviously just going to hit the area. Meteor, you've got to get slightly lucky. Migdal Stronghold to come and secure this. As we said, playing off the 3rd gold mine. This is the 3rd gold mine here for the Mister. So he just wants to come in. There's already a fortress here, but the Chariot Arch can do so much damage against these. So really needs to get heavy camel riders in, because then they will be able to tank for so much more time with their extra health. But it looks like there's just pure archers here. So even just the Phoenix, the Siege Tower, and just the couple of frontline that he actually has can really soak up so much damage for the super buff Chariot Archers to come in. These guys are so strong. Excuse me. Wouldn't surprise me if he would be getting not the heavy, but actually the champion Chariot Archers out. Another restoration coming in, and he's just deciding to fight it again. Actually, no, just misclicked, actually. But what Mister is trying to do here is he's trying to get this gold mine or push Magic off of this gold mine while also securing this one. I mean, it's very, very difficult. Magic is in a really good spot here. And the villagers coming across, maybe they were trying to shank some of the villagers before that Migdal Stronghold came up. But this is already defending the gold mine. As soon as this comes up, it'll be defending the gold mine even more. And then what is Mister going to do? He's going to have to just keep trading resources. I'm sure they've been trading resources to get gold this entire time. But the amount of gold that Magic has in with his 55 on gold, he can spam these mercenary cavalry for ages. They're not as strong as they used to be, but they still tank for days. The infantry aren't the best, but the cavalry are so tanky. Even if they do lose HP per second, they are a free population unit. But the issue with being at 4 town centers is you really need to get up to that population limit because you spent so many more resources getting out extra villagers, getting this fortified town center, spending money on this Migdal Stronghold too, that he needs to get up to 280 population before doing anything. And that's it, just spamming out everything, getting chariots, getting axemen, and he just needs to pull off, to be honest. This is something that I've found about playing Retold is you feel like you're in the driver's seat, but you just need to wait for that 280 population. You can't be pushing forward prematurely, because then that gives your opponent a chance to actually come back. Whereas right now, this is Magic's game to kind of win, and he needs to play it like that. So Mercenary Cavalry should just constantly come out. You can't auto-queue these guys anymore, so you've got to constantly think about this one. Looks like he's just going to sack the town center and just going straight for the jugular rather than going for the gold mines. He's just going, nah, you need to take this one out to be even. Defending his gold mine here to making sure that that one doesn't go. Watchtowers, Migdal Stronghold up, and just going straight for the main base while he gets to his 280 population. He's not building as many units as I would expect. So he's only got 3 Migdal Strongholds. He's only got 4 barracks. This is one issue when you get to this point of the game. You want to, and this is the issue with ISIS or Egyptians in general, is these cost so much. One went down here. This one you don't want to build units from to get to your main army because they're just going to get picked off. So he just needs to build way more buildings. Still only three and 4. Just needs to build more buildings to get more units out. Still on every single gold mine. Huge trade as well. It's getting so much gold in. Would just be worth buying other resources, but the problem with that is it then lets the Mister sell the resources as well. Huge fight coming on here. Champion chariot archers with decent upgrades coming through. They got bronze weapons, so they're dealing 19.8 damage a shot, which is ridiculous. The catapult is also in, just sitting here with nothing on it. Temple went down. Those nice relics coming out. Camel riders able to tank for a little bit. This is just buying time for the catapult to kind of take this down. Hopefully getting a favorable trade. But in come the hoplites, which is the counter to the camel riders. But the chariot should be able to take those out nice and easily. But the fortified town center is being healed by villagers, so it won't go down. And now there is 2 though, so it could potentially go down with 2. Needs to just snipe those hoplites before they come for these catapults. And I think he's just going to miss out on those. I think probably 2 more shots with both of them probably would have done it. Had 500 HP remaining. Villagers coming here. This is another gold mine secured for the Mister here. And yeah, Magic just needs to get up to full population. I think he was a little bit too eager, a little bit too keen. I think it's really easily done, especially when you're so close to beating one of the best players that you're just going to overstep, when he just needs to sit back, get up, get everything, and then just do a full push with his probably superior units at this point. Yeah, there's only copper upgrades there, and then actually only 1 more upgrade here for Magic. And then we said earlier that these are the best archers in the entire game, and Hades archers are so strong. He doesn't have any special upgrades for them because he hasn't got through Artemis yet. We are seeing that. We're watching from Magic's point of view, but you would expect that this is coming. So when Artemis comes through, those archers are going to have divine damage on them, a divine damage poison spread, similar to like a Wadget, and it's going to be disgusting. Really nice dock placement here. If you ever see a chance to defend a gold mine with docks, then you get the trireme out, or the cabinet, sorry, as you're playing Egyptian. And it's a good way to siege down fortresses and just put a little bit of poke damage onto this as well. We are back to more of an even fight now, and the Hades Shades are going to come through and tank for absolute days. Needs to make sure to have those priests with the upgrade that he doesn't have yet. Just deciding to not spend the favor on that upgrade to get bonus damage against myth units. How many of each does he have? He still only has 3. He has 8 barracks though. 8 barracks will be really good for... I mean, what does he want to get out of the barracks, though? This is a pure archer ball here. So you just kind of want the Migdal units here. You want chariots, you want camels, and that's it. I wouldn't think anything from barracks is going to be worth it. I would just spam down so many Migdals now. Migdal over here, Migdal in the middle. It doesn't need to defend anything. It doesn't need to be like a fortress. It just needs to be... unfortunately, these guys are just taking up population now. They just need to be deleted. Need to just get the archer boats out. He hasn't built these. These spawn for free. Whenever you build a dock, these will just spawn. But now this is what we said earlier. This is what we wanted to see. Loads in the queue ready. This is the 3rd extra restoration that we've seen just to try and hold. Camel coming in. Is the count? Oh, it's just coming down to snipe. I thought maybe he'd have extra bits there. Earthquake coming down on the Migdal stronghold, on the barracks. It's exactly where he needs to use it to try and stop this push. But we do have, actually we don't have masons in. Surprised that didn't do more damage, to be honest. Maybe that wasn't in the center. Maybe the center was a barracks, unless there was also one here. How many does he have? Still has the 3. Now we're getting into more of a late game situation. Late games is walls, is towers, and basically getting the most out of your population. So he wants to be, Magic wants to be building these mercenary cavalry because they are free population for him, and they will tank up against the Tox while the chariots come in. The same as we want to be building towers, more Migdals, buildings, and getting your iron upgrades in to really make the difference here. It's got so much wood in the bank. How many gold mines are actually left? Is there any gold mines? He's got this gold mine. I assume he's been buying other resources with all these on gold. I mean, he has a full trade, I assume. Full trade is 50 now, or is it 40? I think full trade might be 40. So he absolutely has the full trade going on, plus 1 gold mine left. So kind of wants to make the push while he has that gold mine. Might be just even worth bringing like 10 of these villagers forward that are gathering wood that you don't really need anymore to just be building more of these. I mean, he does have 18 villagers forward. That's probably enough, to be honest. And he actually has done that. I swear that was a little bit more on the wood earlier. But this ball is just so difficult to deal with. This is why the towers are here, though, and getting Ballista Tower, which he's pre-queued as soon as he has the resources for it. Oh, it actually costs food now. Would have thought that would cost gold. The question is, when this gold mine is finished, I mean, the Mister has more time on his gold mines. There's also one here. Does he have a trade? You can assume that he does because he was off of a gold mine for a while. But if there's a way to get on that trade and maybe disrupt it with some walls, with some towers, that is a good way to go. But it is, you kind of then have to take your focus off of the middle. And that's the kind of decision that you need to make. 25 chariots, 8 guard towers. The Mister isn't Zeus, so these hoplites don't do as much damage to the guard towers as Zeus hoplites would do, and they get melted by the chariots. So we see Mr. Pharaoh here is getting 2 chariots out each time there's one built, thanks to Valley of the Kings. He doesn't really want to go into elephants because the champion hoplites with their extra upgrades with the Sarissa and everything will just take those down so quick. Really nice snipe actually from the Mister trying to get those catapults. Villagers have a bonus multiplier against catapults, but some nice micro there by Magic to actually see that happening. Did lose 2 of them, but didn't lose the last one thanks to that. Just decided to give up on this gold mine to say I'm just going to focus everything on the middle instead. Peltas coming in, deciding to not go for those chariots anymore, which is not going for those camels anymore, which is probably a good call considering how many hoplites there are. But those axemen are a nice choice. Unfortunately, he hasn't gone through any gods that give him extra axeman attack or anything. Isis doesn't really have that option anyway. And the Peltas just tear those down so quick. He needs to run them away. And then the Mister is just coming back and just pushing forward. He just needs to abandon this, get back up to the population again, and push later on. He's trying to get some camels. I mean, camels are good if you can micro them in a way to just take out the archers. But I think this gold mine will be dropping very, very soon. Maybe it'd be worth having the Pharaoh here rather than trying to use it to get double chariot archers out. Using it to get more gold, to get some mercenary cavalry out is probably the best way. See his upgrades. Got full upgrades as you'd expect at this point in the game. He's got full armory upgrades as well. Interesting to see that he did go through Thoth rather than going through Osiris if he wanted to build camels. Osiris camels are extremely strong. They give you the extra speed, the extra HP. But deciding against that to try and get the meteor and the more like tempo play, let's say. Villagers coming through, shanking the Migdal stronghold down. That is going to go. Actually, still doesn't have masons, which is interesting to leave that upgrade out. I'm sure he's just forgotten about it. Also, not getting that Thoth upgrade, literally just getting it now. This boosts everything for your villagers. Why not grab it? Such a strong tech. He's been on 2 monuments for this entire game and managed to get to 150 favor. There haven't been that many heroes out, or not that I've seen, for Mister. So it would be worth getting some. I think Phoenix probably aren't going to be the play now, but getting some Sphinx out. There's a hero there. Getting some Sphinx out or getting some Scorpion Men to deal with this big bulk of units. Probably Scorpion Men are going to be the best if we can get quite a few of those out, especially with the amount of wood he has in the bank. And then getting out some more monuments. So surprisingly, didn't drop monuments actually on the front line to stop the restorations, but hey ho. I thought about it afterwards, so I'm sure he didn't think about it at the time either. Just stall in the middle here. We're seeing that the dock is actually coming out for the Mister here. for this side. And this is what we said earlier. Camels are going to come and they're going to try and find the trade and stop the Mister's gold mine operation here. There are some hoplites coming over to stop it, so it isn't going to be for long. And the wooden wall is going to come up to stop that from happening again. But this is the sort of thing that you got to be thinking about. You've got to disrupt. You've got to not just play from one position. It's hard to do, but it's something that you've got to keep going. What are we seeing here? Ballast towers dropping down. Siege tower here, but there's so many villagers that can take this out really quick. Cheeky house snipe, really nice. You got to love it, because then he's going to be missing that house and having to rebuild it and stop that population. Does manage to get it before he goes down. Anything that takes away from the fight, basically. Siege works coming down. Doesn't have much gold in the bank to drop loads of Migdals. How many Migdals does he have now? Only the 2. I think that's probably the tell for this game is more Migdals. I think he would have won this game a long time ago. But now we are getting pushed back by the superior Hades late game with just this ball of archers. The siege towers here that are going to need some melee damage to actually come out onto them, and the axemen are just go down so quick. These guys now have the poison damage as well. Trying to get walls down, really good idea to get walls down to stop the opponent's trade. It can actually stop it for quite a while, as it takes a long time to take those walls down. Just the mass archer ball coming through now. Also, just one siege weapon on this side. Just to disrupt where Magic is thinking. This is the walls we wanted, but a granary stops the wall. Super nice play to just get something in the way of these walls to disrupt it. Then it deletes everything around it. Where are we seeing the Pharaoh at? Pharaoh isn't coming here. He's still getting deciding to go get the tusks upgrade for getting pure. Or getting more elephants out. I mean, now we're seeing that there's so few hoplites. Elephants are probably the play, but he just needs to get as many units out, really. He just needs to get more units. Just anything at this point. The Hades is just overwhelming now. Unfortunately, did miss that Mason's upgrade, which would have made this push a little bit slower. But just something that you might miss in these long games. These Hades shades are working overtime. 19.2 damage. But they take 2 seconds to attack. So 9.6 damage a second for a free unit. You definitely can't go wrong. See, these war elephants tank for ages, and they're only heavy. If you had got a few of those out after the hoplites went down earlier, would have been a nice play. There isn't any ranged siege coming in though, so that is one good thing. But there is something happening over here too. Heavy war elephants needing to take down those fortresses. He has his pharaoh back here now to get the more elephants on this side, because he wants to stop that push. But he has got to be worried about his town center here with its 3,000 HP. Walls unfortunately didn't come up as we saw. So many elephants this side. He really wants to make the push over here, but I don't know whether that's just too much. A 4th extra restoration. Restorations galore this game. Normally you might see 1 extra, but I mean, that's the 5th restoration, the 4th extra one. It costs 120 to reuse again. It's absolutely ridiculous. Fortified town centers here, gonna go down, and then Magic is now on the back foot. This has been a back and forth game, but that might be the end if Magic can't keep this one up. And there is the ranged siege now, and what can he do against this ranged siege? not much. He is pushing back over here, though. If he can manage to take this town center down, then he kind of splits the map, manages to make it even again, which is what he's looks like he's trying to do. Actually managing to hold this one, but just that one patrol eye. What can he do? Just needs to tank that settlement up as quick as possible. If he can get the Pharaoh over here, it gets up decently quick, but even just one siege weapon takes that down instantly. Needs more elephants here to take down this, because he is Hades and he's got architects in as well. This is going to take so long to take down, but he needs to do something. He can't just sit and try and defend this position. He's tried to for the entirety, but it's looking pretty dire right now, especially if the Mister can either get a fortress here to stop Magic getting this settlement, or just get the settlement himself. Either way, that's what he wants to do to stop it being an even game. And then the trade also. As soon as the trade goes, that'll be GG. Unfortunately, hot plates coming in with this Sarissa. They deal 10 damage a hit. They deal decent damage to these, but towers coming up. Unfortunately, the elephants were maybe slightly too late. These Hades shades, though, I mean, Hades has got to be the best late game with those. But then Poseidon with his militia also works, and I think this will be the tap out GG after the camels. Gotta be. Camels down, no gold income. The elephant push almost did it as well. I just think that the elephants just came out slightly too late. I think it was a really good idea, but just needed to do it when he had the 4 town centers earlier. Then pull back, mass elephants, or not mass elephants, but loads of elephants, loads of chariot archers. I've got more population than you. See what you can do about it. I really liked the play earlier with the prosperity. Also, when he used prosperity, when he had loads and loads of gold miners, he had 70 gold miners. Such a good play to try and take all the gold off of the map. Last ditch effort, Titan Gate, but I think that these units will get onto the Titan Gate beforehand. But you gotta try. This is a tournament game. You've got to only count yourself out when you are out. Fortunately, can't empower this. All the boys coming through. So much gold as well. Hate to see it. Right, just tanking over here. 4 town centers up. Titan Gate coming through. Going up very, very, very quickly. But whether we'll have anything else left to deal with the remaining units, what we've got to worry about here. Yeah. This is what you want to do if somebody goes for a last ditch effort of getting a Titan Gate out. Just kill everything else, and then you're like, well, you've got a Titan left. What do you want to do? Rather than running through for the Titan. They might be able to defend. I don't think Magic would be able to defend this, just with the amount of units he has. Apparently he's got 5.9k units, but he doesn't. But I definitely got to try. You got to respect the effort. I can click on these to see where they're built. Okay, Fortress coming up to definitely stop this trade. Then units coming in, taking out the majority of everything else. Going to take out the units, and yeah, I don't think the Titan Gate will be up. Ancestors, got to bring everything to the party. Try and stop it. The siege coming in does now get those upgrades. Noticed he missed those architects earlier, and that's Mister's game. That was a crazy game. Well played by Mister to actually come back from that. I think Magic played this really, really well to get into the position where he got 4 town centers to 2 town centers. Then I think he just pushed the boat too soon. He needed to wait until he got up to that 280 population rather than 205 or whenever he went. Like, technically he was even with what Mister had, but you just got to wait and then be sure about it. But I can see why he went early. You don't want the Mister to come back into it, but really well played. We'll try and watch the next one and get that from Mister's perspective. If you want to see any more, this is from EGC TV's Genesis tournament, and I'll see you in the next one.